Welcome back, loyal companions of Secrets Behind the Stars. The air today feels charged, the way it does right before a confession no one expects and everyone secretly hopes to hear. Our studio lights may be the same, our microphones steady as ever, but the message echoing through them is about to redraw the map of love in the unforgiving terrain of fame. Before we dive into the heart of it, remember you make this community possible. Subscribe if you haven't, tap like to tell the algorithm that honesty matters here, ring that bell so you never miss a revelation, and if you want to stand even closer to the flame of truth, the join button is live. It keeps us independent and brings you into an insider's circle where the curtains part just a little wider. Now breathe, because what we're about to unpack will be talked about for a very, very long time. For weeks, an uneasy mist hovered over the headlines of Turkey's favorite on-screen and off-screen duo. The whispers started as a murmur and turned into a choir of doubt, a constant drumbeat suggesting distance, mismatched schedules, a chill where there used to be sparks. Every misjoined appearance became a clue, every carefully neutral caption turned into a conspiracy. Fans grew tense, counting days since the last cozy selfie, replaying every old interview, wondering if a fairy tale had run up against the reality of two blazing careers. The rumor mill, always hungry, was certain it smelled smoke. And then, when the chorus of separation seemed poised to crescendo into certainty, reality stepped in wearing a bold expression and steadier nerves than anyone expected. Barış Arduç, a man famous for guarding his private life like a well-kept set, decided to stop speaking in hints and let the truth come out clean. Not in a half measure, not buried between projects or disguised as a promotional tease. No, he looked straight at the expectation machine and said words that stopped producers, publicists, and fans alike in their tracks. "There's nothing left I'm willing to conceal." That line was not heard as a simple romantic admission. It sounded like a gate unlocking. It carried the weight of a person taking back authorship over his own story, refusing to let optics dictate his heart. Those who know him say it wasn't sudden, not an impulsive break in protocol. It was a decision that had been growing in silence, like a seed under soil, waiting for the light. Yes, the outside world noticed a strategic pullback. Fewer shared photos, fewer red carpets side by side, a choreography of polite evasions whenever a microphone veered too far into personal territory. The internet, of course, filled in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. But backstage, the truth was not a goodbye, it was a blueprint taking shape. The explosion came when Barış stepped over the line that most stars never cross and made his intention transparent. Calmly, clearly, he said the thing no one expected to hear that day. "The moment has come for Elçin and me to make a home together." You could feel the collective gasp ricochet through newsrooms. Those words are not a flirtation with headlines or a seasonal promise, they signal structure, permanence, something that lives beyond buzz and into bricks, rooms, and Sunday mornings. Sources close to them insist this future hasn't been dreamed in a rush. Between sets and long nights, across travel days and read-throughs, they've been quietly aligning their wants, choosing a shared horizon, folding their ambitions into plans that include two names under the same roof. If you've noticed how grounded Barış has seemed lately, less scattered, more tuned in, consider it a tell. When someone rearranges their priorities, peace has a way of showing on the surface. And yes, this is the place where we pause for a second, Secrets Behind the Stars family, to ask you what we ask ourselves in these moments. Should managers and agents steer the private matters of the artists they represent? Is a spotless public image worth the cost of a genuine personal life? We know what Barış's answer looks like, but your voice counts here too, so tell us in the comments. And if you value this kind of deep dive, the join button keeps our investigations uncensored and our conversations fearless. Here's the sharpest edge of his announcement, the piece that is both brave and risky in the business he thrives in, the boundary he drew around his professional circle, and specifically around his agent. Not with bitterness or disrespect, he was careful to signal gratitude for the person who helped him climb, but with clarity no one could mistake. He said, in essence, that his representation has been vital for contracts and momentum, but the person who decides how his heart is handled is him. "My agent has been crucial to my career, absolutely, but off-camera choices are mine," he stated. Then came the line that rattled the corridors of power more than any romantic declaration could: they do not get to overmanage his private world. It was an uncharacteristically unambiguous stance in a system where perception often eclipses personhood, and where the brand can outvote the soul. Insiders say this didn't appear out of nowhere. For a while, he'd felt cornered by the invisible hands of calendars, campaign tie-ins, scripted narratives that felt safer for stakeholders than true to the couple. He felt the pressure pile up when even the tender parts of his life were evaluated for their promotional value. Elçin Sangu, meanwhile, was reportedly navigating the same maze. It said that she longed to be able to speak softly and simply about what mattered most to her without a committee deciding when that would be conveniently marketable. Which is why many see Barry's stance not just as an act of self-definition but as a shield he lifted over both of them. And the word traveling among confidants is that she's quietly radiant about it. The line she shared with close friends says everything. For the first time in ages, I feel truly settled and safe. The response from their supporters was seismic. Within minutes, timelines turned into a rolling wave of love. "This is how you stand by your heart," wrote one fan. "Honesty suits them," posted another. What trended wasn't a scandal but a collective exhale. The implicit message wasn't just that a relationship is real, it was that living authentically is the new rule of this duo's game. By saying they're finished with half-lights and clever cover stories, they're reframing how a high-profile romance can survive the heat. From now on, they implied, they won't be the subjects of a script other people write. They'll carry their own narrative, forward-facing and steady. But if you think this was a spontaneous flare, think again. People who have walked with them through the past months say this is the surface of a deeper tectonic shift. It was planned with the patience of people who know what they want and understand the cost. Those close to her share that Elçin has been taking stock of everything: her projects, her boundaries, her hopes, and the part of her life that never gets applause but makes everything else possible. Through that reflective season, she found in him the kind of partner whose constancy doesn't show up in headlines but shows up every day. He, for his part, points to her calm and her resolve as the compass that kept him from getting lost inside the noise. From their first spark, the pair lived under a microscope. Every laugh was replayed, every look annotated, every absence treated like a coded message. What began with curiosity turned into a pressure cooker. Declaring, "We're done keeping this in the shadows," is less a romantic flourish than an act of resistance. Their belief is simple. A love protected by secrecy can wither from lack of air, while a love faced into the sun becomes strong enough to weather storms. No boardroom can optimize what binds them. No chart can predict it, no schedule can fully accommodate it, and that's exactly why it matters. Another detail fueling the conversation is timing. He's on the cusp of big moves, international talks, prestige projects, the kind of opportunities that would tempt anyone to play it safe. Instead, he chose the moment of maximum visibility to be maximally real. Read that as a declaration of maturity. The message, sent indirectly yet unmistakably to producers and reps, is that he won't trade away his feelings to keep his calendar unruffled. Meanwhile, Elçin is said to be lighter, freer, suddenly planning next seasons without asking herself if dreaming out loud might jinx her momentum. Those in their circles say this is the clearest proof their relationship has traveled from something fragile and new to something durable and defined. And when they talk about building a home, insiders say they mean much more than square meters and decor. They mean a harbor where they can rest from the glare, a custom-made privacy not to hide in but to recover in. A place where they can celebrate wins without performing, and carry losses without an audience. Their refuge will not be an escape from fame but a balance to it, a living promise between two people who have learned that the loudest thing in their lives doesn't have to be the world. This shift could mark the most compelling chapter of Barry's career so far. For years he wore the armor of restraint, sharp lines and measured words, and it served him. But the version of him we're seeing now is bolder, warmer, just as disciplined but not just for optics. He's choosing to be fully human in public, not because it's fashionable, but because it's freeing. And when he says they won't dim or disguise their bond anymore, he isn't only acknowledging who they are, he's choosing the life they want, deliberately and without apology. Make no mistake, this isn't a farewell to professionalism. It's a recalibration. The work will keep thriving, the sets will keep humming, and the roles will keep stretching him. But now, the order of importance is unmistakable. He's the one setting that order, not a schedule or a slogan. She's not peeking from the sidelines, she's standing where she's always stood, in the center of his private world, only now, the lights aren't aimed to blind them into silence. They're aimed to show them as they are. So where does this leave us, the audience who has watched, guessed, cheered, and worried? Standing at a threshold right beside them. Because this isn't just an update. It's an invitation to witness something that's done being filtered. And yes, here's where we circle back to you. What do you make of drawing a line with your agent when hearts are involved? Do you think this breath of freedom will make their work more daring, more nuanced, more joyfully alive? Drop your thoughts below. Your read on this moment matters more than ever. Don't walk away without subscribing to Secrets Behind the Stars. Leave your like if you felt the earth move even a little. Share this with everyone who has ever rooted for them. And remember, the join button is there if you want to be part of our closer circle, the one where we go deeper, sooner, and with fewer filters. Because if there's a moral in all of this, it's not a neat slogan. It's the lived courage of two people choosing to be truthful where that's the hardest thing to be. It's a love that refuses to be managed like a campaign. It's the end of quiet nods exchanged in crowded rooms and the beginning of walking through those rooms side by side, unafraid of how the image might be parsed. It's a vow that the home they're building will not just be an address, but a daily decision to put each other first, no matter how loud the world gets. And with that, we step out of the echo and leave you with the simple headline that contains 1,000 small, courageous choices. They are not hiding anymore. They are stepping forward, on their terms, together.